The new Moscow metro would make Russia the envy of the world. It was the ultimate expression of Soviet power under its sinister new leader, Joseph Stalin.
There was now a new Tsar in the Kremlin named Joseph Stalin, and he wanted to immortalize his Tsardom by building the greatest engineering works known to man, which is the underground network under the city known as the Moscow Metro. He lived in constant fear of assassination.
Anyone working beneath the Kremlin would be under suspicion. And as Stelletskii homed in on the Arsenal Tower, his finds were turning sinister. The workers were terrified to discover skeletons beneath their shovels, unidentified victims of some ancient crime. For Stelletskii, it was a daily reminder of Moscow's violent past. Somehow, he had to get Stalin's regime to back his quest for the library. And he realized that Ivan the Terrible himself could show him the way. Stelletskii planned to exploit a curious story about the Tsar. During Ivan's reign in the 16th century, he'd made frequent trips to the forests west of the Kremlin. His companions were trusted members of his personal bodyguard. But they would come back from the woods alone, with an unbelievable tale to tell. According to the story, Ivan would simply vanish, as if by magic. He would later reappear in the Kremlin palaces, as if nothing had happened.
He did want people to believe he had almost demonic powers and could vanish in thin air and appear out of thin air.
Stelletskii knew better, of course. Ivan had used a secret tunnel to spirit himself away. Stelletskii published the story in a Moscow newspaper. Ivan's tunnel was clearly a dangerous breach in Stalin's security, and Stelletskii claimed only he could find it.
He's now going for broke. He decides to make all his findings public. That was really like playing hide and seek with death.
He's really burning his bridges all over the place, and they're ablaze. There's really no way back.
It was a message Stalin's henchmen couldn't ignore, and it wasn't long before they had Stelletskii in their sights.
The voice there says, "Comrade Stelletskii, your digging in the tunnels is starting to disturb us."
The menacing voice on the line was one of Stalin's most ruthless security chiefs. Rudolf Peterson was the commandant of the Kremlin itself, a brutal enforcer with the power of life and death.
He was responsible for the continuing good health of the Soviet leaders. That job was frightening for him, and he himself was a very frightening man. He personally would butcher people.
Peterson wanted to know all the secrets of the Kremlin's past. Terrified, Stelletskii told him about Ivan the Terrible's library and the tunnels leading from the Arsenal Tower. But then Peterson gave him the surprise of his life.
He was afraid of being arrested. But, like it often happens in Russian history, a sudden, unexpected turn of events. Instead of that, he was given a carte blanche for excavations under the Kremlin and even access to the Arsenal Tower.
Stelletskii re-entered the basement of the Arsenal Tower. But this time, there was no need to hide. He had Peterson's blessing and a team of engineers. His mission? To map out the Kremlin's secret tunnels and find Ivan the Terrible's library.
He can't believe his luck. It's like a miracle. He's got the keys to the Kremlin now.
Everything was just as Stelletskii had left it in 1912. But now he could explore in safety. On rediscovering the cavity in the floor, Stelletskii's only thought was to find a way through to the levels below, and Ivan's secret labyrinth of white stone.
There had to be another chamber underneath, made of that same white stone.
The lifelong underground explorer was in his element. This was the breakthrough Stelletskii had always dreamed of. At last, he was about to penetrate the heart of Ivan the Terrible's labyrinth.
I mean, he must have been ecstatic.
Just as he'd expected, the tunnels were lined with white stone. Ivan the Terrible's library was hidden somewhere behind the walls.
He must have been absolutely passionate about trying to find this, as any scholar would do. Every door he opened, every hatch he lifted, every stone he unturned, his heart must have leapt, thinking he'd found things.
Stelletskii then writes a report to the commandant of the Kremlin. The tunnels, which I have been dreaming of for 25 years, have been found. I have broken through 4.5 centuries of mystery.
But the result was a catastrophe. Excavations had hardly begun when the workers struck a well directly connected to the underground river nearby.
That must have been a really terrifying moment, all that water starting to pour in to the space he was working in.
Stelletskii's only desperate thought was to find the library and somehow save the books.
At the very point, but he is so close to finding the library he had been looking for so many years, he could have destroyed it himself.
It was a hopeless situation. Stelletskii's team could do nothing except run for their lives.
This is going to be a river, it's an inexhaustible supply of water, and it was really time to get out.
Within reach of his dream, Stelletskii was forced to leave the Kremlin behind. The commandant shut down the excavations.
He has literally undermined the Kremlin, causing damage to the substructure.
But the man on the line wasn't Peterson. There was a new commandant in the Kremlin.
In 1935, in Stalin's Russia, this could only mean one thing. Peterson was as good as dead.
In the Great Terror, Stalin saw every high-ranking official as a rival. Peterson had too much power to be allowed to live.
For that crime, there was no reprieve. A bullet in the back of the neck was the only possible punishment.
In the chaos of the Great Terror, Stelletskii himself disappeared from history. In the worst-case scenario, he too had been executed, or had simply vanished into Stalin's prison camps, like countless others.
They disappeared all the time.
Thwarted in his quest, Stelletskii had filled their home with his strange underground finds. A broken man, he'd cocooned himself in the secrets of the Kremlin.
This sort of obsession, which is probably bordering on madness, you know, that's the Russian scientist for you, you know.
At the end, Stelletskii's mind seemed to have failed. He was losing the ability to even communicate.
Shortly before his death, as his wife later recalled, he started mumbling and bumbling something incoherent.
But this story gave the journalist an amazing idea. Remembering Stelletskii's work in Jerusalem, he tried speaking a few words of Arabic to Stelletskii's puzzled wife.
And she suddenly remembered one word That's it, she said. That's what he said. Maktaba. Maktaba.
Stelletskii had not been babbling. He knew exactly what he was trying to say.
Maktaba is the Arabic for library.
Stelletskii believed in the library to his dying breath. In his own mind, he was still on the quest. And in modern Moscow, his legend lives on.